Let's be honest, brother. Every man has felt that confusion before. You meet a woman, she's into you. You can feel it. The way she looks at you, the way her voice softens when she talks to you, the way she lingers a little longer than she should. Everything feels right until suddenly it doesn't. She starts acting distant, cold, uninterested. She says she needs space. She stops replying fast. She becomes hard to read. And here's the part that drives most men insane. She only started acting like that after things began to get real. After you thought the connection was genuine. So you sit there wondering, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? Did she lose interest? Was I too much or not enough? The truth is none of that. Because sometimes when a woman pushes you away, it's not because she doesn't want you. It's because she wants you too much, and that feeling scares her more than she'll ever admit. Now, that might sound crazy to some guys, but stay with me. There's a deep psychological reason behind it. See, most men assume women are simple in attraction, that if she likes you, she'll chase you. But female psychology doesn't work that way. A woman's emotions are layered, often conflicting. Attraction to a man can make her feel vulnerable, and vulnerability for many women feels like danger. That's the part most men never understand. When she pushes you away, it's not rejection. It's self-P protection. She's testing her own feelings, testing you. She's wondering, if I open up to this man, will he still see me the same way, or will he use my softness against me? See, modern men are taught to chase clarity, but women live in emotion. And emotion isn't linear. It's waves, pulling back, coming closer, pulling back again. And if you don't understand that rhythm, you'll end up reacting to her fear as if it's rejection. And that's when you lose her completely. Here's what you need to realize. When a woman starts creating distance, it's rarely random. It's almost always connected to how much power you now have over her emotions. Because let's be real, most women don't push away the guy they don't care about. They push away the one who made them feel something real. The one who saw through the mask, the one who got too close. And when that happens, her mind starts fighting her heart. Her mind says, slow down. Protect yourself. Her heart says, but I want him. That's when the push and pull begins. And if you don't stay calm through it, if you start chasing, begging, or trying to fix it, you confirm every fear she has, that you're not the solid man she thought you were. Now, here's the controversial part. Most men don't lose women because they weren't enough. They lose them because they reacted emotionally when she needed them to be still. They turned her test into drama. They tried to talk her into feeling safe instead of showing it through presence, self-control, and patience. Because women don't trust words. They trust energy. She doesn't listen to your promises. She feels your stability. And this is where a lot of guys go wrong. They try to analyze her behavior logically. They overthink every text, every silence, every sigh. But female psychology isn't a math problem. It's emotional rhythm. You can't outthink emotion. You have to understand it. So, let me give it to you straight. When she pulls away, she's often just checking if you'll lose your center, because deep down she's asking herself, is this man strong enough to handle my emotions? Or will he crumble the moment things get uncomfortable? If you stay calm, grounded, patient, she'll come back. If you panic, chase, or act needy, she'll vanish. It's that simple. And I know that might sound unfair. You might say, why do men have to stay calm while women test them? Because that's the game of polarity. Women are emotional by nature. Men are supposed to bring stability into that emotional storm. Not control her, not manipulate her, but lead with calm energy, the kind that makes her feel safe enough to stop pushing you away. So, If you're watching this and you've been wondering why she suddenly went cold, stop over-analyzing her every move. She's not confused about what she wants. She's just afraid of what she feels. And the only way to break that wall is not by forcing your way in, but by showing her that you're not leaving just because she's scared. That's real strength. That's what separates men who constantly chase validation from men who naturally attract loyalty. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happens inside her mind when she pushes you away even though she wants you the most. We'll talk about the emotional triggers that cause women to retreat just when connection gets real, the subtle mistakes men make that confirm her fears instead of calming them, and finally, the mindset that makes her feel safe to come back and stay. By the end of this, you'll stop taking her distance personally. You'll see that behind her coldness isn't rejection, it's fear. And once you understand that, you'll never look at women the same way again. The emotional triggers behind her distance. Here's the truth that most men never learn early enough. A woman's pullback usually doesn't start with you. It starts with what you awaken inside her. You think she's just losing interest, but in reality, she's feeling something she can't control. And that scares her because emotion to a woman is like fire. It can keep her warm, or it can burn her if she gets too close. When a woman starts to fall for you, there's a shift deep inside her. Her guard lowers. Her thoughts start revolving around you. She starts imagining you in her daily life. What it feels like to be yours, how you make her feel safe, how she smiles differently when she's with you. And right when that emotional connection hits its peak, her mind slams the brakes. Why? Because emotions like that come with risk. Most women have learned, sometimes through experience, sometimes through pain, that the moment they feel too deeply is the moment they're most likely to get hurt. So when she starts to genuinely like you, her brain sends her a warning. Slow down. Don't trust too fast. Don't show too much. That's when the distance starts, not because she stopped liking you, but because she started liking you too much. Let's break that down further. There are 3 major emotional triggers that cause this retreat. 1. Fear of vulnerability. 2. Fear of losing control. 3. Fear of being disappointed again. Let's go through each in plain, real language. 1. Fear of vulnerability. When a woman opens up emotionally, it's not casual, it's a risk. She's revealing parts of herself she usually keeps locked away. Most men don't realize that for many women, emotional closeness feels like exposure, and exposure feels dangerous. Think about it. In a world where everyone's playing emotional chess, being open can feel like handing someone the power to hurt you. So, when she starts catching feelings, she might pull back just to see what you'll do. It's her way of saying, can I trust this man with the version of me that no one else sees? The mistake most men make here is reacting emotionally, trying to chase, fix, or question her behavior. But what she really needs isn't an explanation. It's reassurance through your energy. Calm presence tells her, you're safe here. That's what builds trust, not words, not logic. Energy. 2. Fear of losing control. When emotions take over, many women feel like they're losing control of their image, their pace, their emotional independence. It's unsettling, especially if she's used to being in charge of her emotions. So, she does something subtle. She retreats. She slows communication. She acts colder, not because she's trying to play games, but because she's trying to regain emotional balance. Now, here's where many men fall apart. They panic. They think she's losing interest. I need to do more. But every time you try to do more, you only confirm her fear that her emotions are making her too easy to read, too available, too vulnerable. What she's unconsciously hoping you'll do is nothing. Not because she doesn't care, but because she wants to feel that her emotions won't scare you away. She wants to see if you're still grounded when she isn't. 3. Fear of being disappointed again. This one runs deep. It's not about you. It's about what she's been through. Every woman who's been let down, ignored, or emotionally neglected carries small emotional memories. So when she meets a man who feels different, who actually connects with her heart, her mind gets cautious. It says, what if this is just another illusion? And that's when she pushes away. Not because you failed, but because her past is whispering louder than your presence. Let's make this real. Imagine this. You meet a woman who's warm, open, and connected from the start. She tells you about her dreams, her struggles, and how peaceful she feels around you. You're thinking, this could be something real. Then suddenly she goes cold. She cancels plans, replies slower, says she's been busy. You start questioning everything. But what's happening inside her isn't rejection. It's emotional overload. She felt something powerful and that triggered her instinct to protect herself. She's thinking, I really like this man. What if he ends up hurting me like the last one? If you chase her at that moment, you become a reflection of her fear. Another man reacting emotionally. But if you stay calm, respectful, and grounded, you become something rare. A man who makes her feel safe enough to face her feelings. And that's when she returns. Not because you chased her, but because your energy told her, you're safe here. You don't have to run. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop taking her distance personally. You stop reacting with panic. You start realizing that emotional distance is part of the process of real attraction. Most men fail not because women don't want them, but because they misread her emotional retreat as disinterest. They start fighting for reassurance instead of standing firm in patience. But the man who remains calm when she's confused is the man she'll remember when her emotions settle. That's why confidence isn't just about what you say or do. It's about how stable your energy is when things become uncertain. In the next part, we'll talk about how men accidentally confirm a woman's fears instead of calming them, and why that's the exact moment most connections fall apart. The mistakes men make that confirm her fears. Let's be real, brother. Most men lose a woman not because they weren't enough, but because they reacted wrong when she started pulling away. And the sad part is they didn't even realize they were doing it. See? When a woman starts creating distance, it triggers something inside you too. Your ego wants to fix it. Your emotions want to chase it. Your mind wants answers. You start thinking, I need to do something before she forgets me. But that's the first trap. Because when you start chasing clarity, what she sees isn't love. It's insecurity. When you start over-explaining, over-calling, or over-exting, what she feels isn't connection. It's pressure. And when you start acting like her attention is your oxygen, she no longer sees a man who can lead. She sees a man who's being led by emotion. That's how you confirm her fear. Remember this, when she pulls away, she's not testing your words. She's testing your stability. And the more emotional you become, the more unstable you appear. It's not about pretending not to care. It's about staying composed enough to show that you can handle her emotional shifts without losing yourself. But here's what happens most of the time. A woman goes distant, and the man immediately tries to win her back. He starts doing more, saying more, trying harder. He turns connection into a chase. And ironically, the harder he tries to fix it, the more she feels something's off. Because women can feel when your energy shifts from calm confidence to anxious pursuit. And that shift doesn't make her feel wanted, it makes her feel unsafe. When you start overcompensating, what you're really saying, and without words, is, I need you to feel okay so I can feel okay. And that's heavy. That's pressure. That's the opposite of attraction. What women are drawn to isn't a man who begs for reassurance. It's a man who can stay at peace when everything feels uncertain. Because peace to a woman feels like leadership. It tells her, you're not the center of my stability. I am. That's what makes her feel secure enough to come closer again. Now, here's another mistake men make. They start chasing explanations. They want to talk everything out, solve it logically, find closure. But here's the problem. Women don't fall in or out of feelings through logic. They move through emotion. So, when you start trying to talk your way into closeness, you're speaking a language her emotions can't understand. She doesn't need a speech. She needs to feel your calmness. She doesn't want 1,000 words. She wants energy that tells her, I'm still here. I'm not shaken. That silence, that emotional stillness is what resets the connection. Because when she feels that you're okay, even when she's uncertain, she starts to trust your energy again. But when you react, panic, or beg for answers, she feels what she feared most. That you're another man who can't handle her emotions. And once that happens, she'll keep testing you. Not because she enjoys it, but because she's trying to see if you're really grounded or just pretending to be. Another common mistake is letting rejection bruise your ego instead of strengthen your patience. When a woman pulls away, some men start acting cold, sarcastic, or defensive, like they need to prove they don't care. That's not strength. That's insecurity in disguise. Real strength is the ability to remain calm without turning bitter, to stay centered without punishing her with silence, to understand that her emotional confusion isn't a threat to your worth. It's just part of the emotional rhythm of attraction. Because women don't remember every word you say, but they never forget how your energy felt when things got complicated. So, if you can stay balanced, not needy, not arrogant, just steady, you separate yourself from every other man she's met. You become the calm in her chaos. And that's when attraction turns into trust. Let's get something straight. Masculinity isn't about control or dominance. It's about emotional control. It's the power to stay unshaken when things feel uncertain. And when you can do that, when you can stop reacting and start holding space, her emotions begin to settle naturally. Because no woman truly wants to run forever. Most are just waiting for the man who makes them feel safe enough to stop. So when she goes quiet, don't chase her energy. When she seems distant, don't try to talk her into feeling close again. When she withdraws, don't take it as an attack. Take it as a moment to show emotional maturity. The right energy says, I don't need to control this moment. I trust that what's meant for me won't disappear because of temporary emotion. That's what separates average men from emotionally grounded ones. And that's the mindset that makes her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time. Peace in your presence. The mindset that makes her feel safe to come back and stay. Let's be honest. A lot of men want loyalty, connection, and respect from women, but they haven't built the mindset that earns it. They want peace, but they don't live like men who can create peace. They want love, but they don't understand that love without emotional strength becomes chaos. And that's the real issue. It's not that women are too complicated. It's that too many men are too reactive. Too many men confuse desire with discipline. They want her attention more than they want to understand her emotions. Here's the truth. A woman doesn't come back because you convince her. She comes back because your energy feels like home. Stable, calm, consistent. That's what makes her drop her defenses. That's what makes her trust again. So, what kind of mindset creates that feeling? It's not some trick or psychological tactic. It's a combination of self-respect, patience, and emotional awareness. It's being a man who doesn't lose himself every time emotions shift. First, stop needing validation to feel valuable. A lot of men base their confidence on how much attention they get from women. And that's dangerous because the moment she pulls away, your confidence disappears too. You start chasing her energy instead of building your own. You become a man whose mood depends on someone else's reaction. And that's not power, that's dependence. Real masculine energy isn't loud or needy. It's grounded. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is, whether she gets back or not. That's the kind of energy a woman can relax around. Because the truth is, women don't fall for the most handsome man or the richest man. They fall for the one whose energy feels safe. And safety doesn't mean you're soft. It means you're emotionally solid. Second, control your reactions. You can't call yourself emotionally strong if you explode every time she becomes distant. If you start overthinking, blaming, or chasing, you're showing her that you can't handle discomfort. And discomfort is part of every connection. You need to understand her emotions will change, her tone, her rhythm, her warmth. It will fluctuate. If your stability depends on her mood, you'll never have real peace in a relationship. Strong men stay centered even when the energy shifts. They observe instead of reacting. They respond with presence, not panic. That's what leadership looks like emotionally. Not control, but calmness under pressure. And that's what makes her feel like, okay, I can trust this man with my heart. Third, learn to be alone without feeling empty. This one might hurt, but it's the truth. Too many men are terrified of silence. They can't stand being alone with themselves, so they fill the space with distractions, chasing women, chasing attention, chasing noise. But when you're afraid of being alone, every woman you meet becomes your escape, not your partner. And that's why you lose yourself in the process. A man who's comfortable being alone doesn't chase love. He attracts it because he doesn't need someone to fill his emptiness. He's already full. And that's the kind of presence that makes a woman feel peace, not pressure. Fourth, stop trying to be liked and start being respected. Too many men shrink themselves to keep a woman around. They stop leading. They stop speaking their truth. They start agreeing with everything just to avoid conflict. But here's the thing. You can't inspire respect by being agreeable. You inspire it by standing firm in who you are, by knowing your boundaries, speaking clearly, and leading with integrity. Women don't stay for the man who always agrees. They stay for the man who stands for something. Respect is the foundation of attraction. And once that's gone, nothing else lasts. So stop chasing approval. Start embodying purpose. When you move with purpose, your energy shifts. You stop begging for peace. You become it. Finally, remember this. She can only feel safe around you when you're safe within yourself. If you're filled with insecurity, fear, or doubt, she'll feel it. Energy doesn't lie. You don't need to talk about confidence. She can feel when it's real. So, before you demand loyalty or emotional closeness from any woman, build it within yourself first. Be loyal to your growth. Be consistent with your values. Because the truth is, the way you treat yourself sets the tone for how she'll treat you. Men need to wake up to this reality. It's not about becoming harder. It's about becoming wiser. It's not about controlling women. It's about mastering yourself. If you can learn to stay calm when she's emotional, steady when she's unsure, and patient when she needs space, you'll stand out instantly. Because in a world full of men chasing attention, very few have the strength to stand still. That's the mindset that makes her feel safe enough to stop running. Not manipulation, not charm, not pretending, just pure emotional groundedness. The kind that says, you can be yourself around me because I'm not afraid of your emotions. And that, my friend, is the kind of man she'll never want to push away again. You've heard everything. The psychology, the emotional rhythm, the mindset. Now, it's time to face the truth. Most men don't want to admit. You don't lose women because they're too complicated. You lose them because you refuse to evolve. That's the uncomfortable truth. And yes, it's controversial, but it needs to be said. We live in a time where men blame women for being emotional, but never take responsibility for being unsteady. You want loyalty, yet you haven't built discipline. You want depth, but you can't handle silence. You want peace, but your energy is chaotic. Here's what most men don't understand. A woman doesn't stay for love alone. She stays for emotional safety. And that kind of safety can only come from a man who's mastered himself. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Not controlling, not panicking, just present. Because presence is the quiet power that says, I don't need to chase what's real. I attract it by being grounded in who I am. That's the kind of energy that changes how a woman sees you. Not as another man fighting for her attention, but as a man whose calmness brings her peace. Now, let's talk about something that might ruffle feathers. The real reason modern relationships fall apart. It's not because women expect too much. It's because men have started expecting too little of themselves. Men used to see emotional control as strength. Now, many see it as weakness. They confuse stillness with silence and confidence with ego. But you can't lead anyone, not even yourself, if your emotions lead you first. You say you want a loyal woman, but are you loyal to your purpose? You say you want respect, but do you move in a way that earns it? You say you want peace, but do you give peace to the people around you? If not, that's your wake-up call. Because the truth is, attraction isn't about what you say or how you look. It's about what your presence does to someone's nervous system. Do you calm her mind or do you create chaos in her head? That's the difference between being wanted and being trusted. And if that truth stings, good. It means you're ready to grow. Here's the controversial statement I promised. A woman doesn't run from men. She runs from the version of herself she becomes around weak energy. Let that sink in. Because deep down, most women aren't afraid of love. They're afraid of losing themselves in it. And when a man's energy feels unstable, when he reacts, chases, argues, or over-explains, it triggers that fear instantly. So she runs, not because she doesn't care, but because she can't trust her emotions in the presence of inconsistency. And that's where your real power begins, when you learn to become the calm center in someone else's storm. Because when you stop taking her distance personally, when you stop seeing her pull back as rejection, and instead start leading with composure, everything shifts. You stop needing her to feel something for you to feel complete. You become the kind of man who makes her feel safe enough to stop pretending she doesn't care. And listen, I'm not here to preach from a pedestal. I'm here to remind you that emotional control, discipline, and strength aren't outdated. They're necessary in a world full of men chasing attention. Be the one who chases growth. Be the one who builds peace instead of demanding it. Be the one whose silence speaks louder than any argument. Because the truth is, a woman can't truly love you until she feels safe around you. And she won't feel safe around you until you're safe within yourself. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this, where a woman pulled away right when things started to feel real? Did you react or did you stay grounded? What did you learn from it? Drop your experience in the comments. I read them personally and I respond to many because I don't just want to talk at you. I want to connect with you. We're building a space here for men who want to grow emotionally, mentally, spiritually, men who are done playing games and ready to understand what real strength looks like. If that's you, speak up below because someone might read your story and realize they're not alone in what they're going through. And remember, don't chase what's meant for you. Grow into the kind of man that what's meant for you can recognize. Because when your energy is right, you'll never have to beg for connection again. It'll find you naturally.